Welcome to another video about my office aquarium. In this video, I will be trimming some of the plants in the aquarium. All in all, it's been about 3 to 4 weeks since the first video was recorded, and the plants have grown in really nicely. I'll also be adding fish and some more shrimp into the aquarium. I'm really pleased with how this tank has been growing in so far. As you can see, the dwarf hairgrass has really taken root, and as far as algae goes, really just this light dusting on the glass is all I'm seeing so far. All in all, it's probably one of my most successful starts to a tank in terms of plant health. I mean, just look at those roots. From the side profile here, you can definitely see more of the algae on the glass, so I'll be cleaning that up today as well. But yeah. Overall, a lot of the plants are doing really well. There are a few that are struggling, mainly the Bucephalandra, which I had never really grown from the tissue culture before. But yeah, overall I'm really happy, and our cat is still trying his best. Here's a quick view of the top of the back. The stems are growing in super nicely, though the Hygrophila pinnatifida is definitely overcrowding the Rotala wallichi in the back here. And some of these stems are looking a little gangly and rooty, so I will be cutting the tops and replanting them. But as you can see, the Hygrophila is really blown up, and it's just throwing roots like crazy all over the wood. So I'm just moving the outflow back so I can get some room to get my hand in here and clean up the glass. I do like to use an old expired debit card. Please don't steal my identity. But I find that this does a really good job of knocking loose the light dust algae without risk of damaging the silicone seams on the tank. I also like to do this when the filter is turned off. That way the canister filter is not just intaking all the algae I'm knocking loose into the water column. I cut out a lot of the cleaning of the glass, so here I'm just kind of trying to stir up all the debris I knocked down into the hair grass, and honestly it just kind of feels really good to run my fingers through the carpeting plant. I also noticed this Bucephalandra was coming loose, and tried my best to stick it back into place. It was also time for the cat to go. I also like to use a toothbrush in the corners. I find that it's really effective at kind of clearing up the algae that's actually in the corners of the glass. I was also knocking loose some of the fungus that had grown on the suction cups of the heater. Yeah, it had just been staying there, and the shrimp didn't really seem to be wanting to get that close to the heater to clean that part off, so I figured manual removal was the best thing to do at this point. I also cleared out some of the fungus that was growing from the wood and covering some of the leaves of the Bucephalandra. All that done, it was time to get to trimming the plants. My main focus today was a Hygrophila pinnatifida, and realistically I could have trimmed the dwarf hairgrass carpet, but I was just a little short on time, so I was really only focusing on the stem plants in the background on this one. And I apologize for the angle and maybe some of the lighting. I'm still tweaking the videography side of this channel, but I do think some improvements are on their way, and thanks for bearing with me in the meantime. This is just sped up footage of me trimming the Hygrophila pinnatifida. Really, I was just trying to cut back all the growth that had been protruding towards the background of the tank, thus covering the light that's reaching the stem plants. And I was being a little brutish, honestly, and a little aggressive with my trimming, because this plant always amazes me with how quickly it grows back. I mean, just look at this healthy chunk of plant. And here's where I was really assessing the health of one of the pieces of Bucephalandra. The leaves had melted back completely, as well as the stem. It was quite soft to the touch, so I just decided that this was a loss and decided to remove it entirely. As I was trimming, I couldn't help but notice that we had a tiny little shrimp hanging out in the cave-like part of the hardscape, definitely hiding away from all the commotion. I was super stoked to see them using the natural hides in this aquascape. And here's a quick look of the back of the tank after the trimming of the Hygrophila. As you can see, it's a lot more clear in the back. I also did cut and replant those stems of the Rotala Wallichi in the corner. At some point, I probably do need to make an effort to replant the stems the rest of the way along the back, but for now, this was good enough for me. And next, it's on to a water change and temperature acclimation for our new inhabitants. And speaking of the new inhabitants, I just want to mention that over half of the original shrimp colony were lost due to low temperatures. Since then, I moved the heater into the high flow area of the tank to make sure the water is at appropriate temperature levels. My coworker actually made a flag and had a flag folding ceremony for the Shrimp Day of Remembrance. And here we are filling water back into the tank after the change. And meanwhile, while this was all happening, we were doing some drip acclimation. Given we didn't have any pipettes or extra tubing, we were kind of just dripping some water in every so often for about 30 minutes into the bag. And we didn't get any footage of releasing them into the tank, but here's some footage of all the new inhabitants. Decided to add 12 chili rasbora, and I believe it was 5 or 6 more orange sakura shrimp to help round out the population some more. There was also a ram's horn snail in there, which has been actually in the cube tank at home, so you'll have to see some more footage of that one in the next video. But yeah, the release went really well. The fish obviously decided to take some cover right away, but they slowly started to venture out, and honestly the shrimp had no negative signs, no signs of negative reaction to being in the new tank. it wasn't long before most of them were kind of schooling up and exploring their new environment, which was really a treat to see. And yeah, as we watch this footage of them exploring their new home for the first time, I'll just say I was really impressed by how quickly these fellas colored up, and they had really vibrant colors, and I enjoyed their schooling behavior. And I had actually installed this spin pipe with them in mind because I wanted some slower flow, because I had read that they didn't typically do well or live in environments with high flow water like the jet pipe was producing. And I'll just rip the band-aid off. This hobby, we're dealing with live animals, and tragically, the weekend after I put these guys in, I came to work on Monday and found 5 of them on the floor. I had kind of observed their behavior after a little more closely since I had time, throughout my workday, and I kind of noticed that very strangely they seemed to be obsessed with swimming in the flow generated by said spin pipe, and I think that they were all just kind of getting launched out of that corner of the tank because all 5 were kind of near the intake pipe on the ground. The outflow pipe. So I have since switched back to the jet pipe, and I've had to rearrange it and point it towards the wood structure to kind of distribute the flow a little more slowly throughout the plant matter and across the wood face. But it was really sad to me, but it is kind of a part of the hobby. And since then, 2 have mysteriously disappeared, and 1 passed away. It looked like its mouth was stuck open, and I don't think it was actually eating. So right now there's only 4 of these little guys in the tank. I'm debating on whether I want to add more, or maybe just get them put into the cube tank at home, and then maybe put something a little more robust of a swimmer in the office tank. But just some bad news, and just wanted to share that with y'all, that it is something that can and does occasionally happen. At the end of the day, I do feel bad because these are creatures in my care, and they're providing me joy throughout my work life, and I really just want to provide the best home that I can for them. Just want to let you know, because next time you see this tank, the stocking will probably be vastly different than what you saw in this video. The shrimp are all doing fine though, so no worries there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be about the 16-gallon cube I have in my house. Thanks again.